Hello everyone, welcome to Study Automation. In this video we will see how we can write to-do applications so that whenever we will click on add button or whenever we will hit enter button, how the data will be stored and multiple to-do items will be stored. So instead of writing this label here, let me just remove it and let's remove BR as well. Now since we have done here handle change, which is used to store the current data, current text or item inside a state and text. Now in the next thing we will see how we can store on click of submit. So let's say on form we can say on submit. On submit we can call one function, this dot handle submit. This handle submit we have to declare inside constructor as well. So we can say handle submit equal to this dot handle submit and then dot bind, and here we'll pass this object, this as a parameter. After that we have to create this function also, handle submit, and here we'll pass e as a parameter, and then we'll write this dot. Okay, so here we have handle submit. So first thing is we have to do is that we have to prevent default submit. Whenever we will click enter, then it should only submit once we will click enter. So we have to write here prevent default. This is one thing that we need to write, e dot prevent default. After that we have to check whether user has entered anything in that text or not. So for that we can write if this dot state dot text dot length, right? Text dot length is basically equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, then we can simply say return. That means you should not do submit. You can simply return data from here, return cursor from here. After that what we can do, we can create const new item equal to, here we can say text equal to this dot state dot text. Since this value is already available in state, we have to just save it here in text, and after that we can use id. In this id what we can do, we can simply create date dot now. We have one function already available, date. We can use this date to store the id, date id, in the form of integer to this id that we will use later while printing the data. Now we have one object created. What we have to do next is whenever we will submit this data should store in one of the array. So let's declare one array inside a state. We can say items, and this item is a type of array. So here what we will do, we can simply say that this dot set a state, and in this one we have to pass a state, and then we can say that we have object, and inside this object I can write items equal to a state dot items dot concat. We can use concat function to store the new item data. This here we can use set state dot items dot concat, and then we can pass this item, new item that we have created here, this object, and after that we can say text equal to blank. We have to clear the input box. This is all that we need to do once we will click on handle submit. right? After that we can save it just to check whether it is working or not, and then we have to display that particular things here. Just before the input label or input item, we have to display those things. Not only input, but just before the form submit, we can display those things. To display, what we have to do, we have to iterate the item list, iterate the items. So for that, here we can write this dot state dot items dot map. We can use map function to map these things, and after that we can say dot map, and here we can pass item. In this item we can simply return in a small braces, and then we can say li, and then we'll use key equal to item dot id. Li will be closed, and inside this we'll write item dot text that we have stored. So if you will see here in this item, we have two things, one is text and another one is id. So this id is used as a key, and this text is that we need to show directly there. Apart that, whenever we use li, then we have to use ul also. Ul, this will create a list. Let's paste it here, and then we can format it. So this particular thing is done. Now let's try to run it and see whether it is working or not. We will go here, and then let's type item 1, click enter. So now here we have some issue. It is saying date.ok. Instead of new, we have to write now. Not new, but we have to write now. Save it. We can go here and write item 1. Okay, perfect. So you can see item 1 is listed here. Let's write item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, and so on. You can add n number of items here. This is the small to-do app that we have just created here. In the next video, we will see how we can create another component just to display these things, and then we will see the uses of props as well. Thank you for watching this video.